Alright, so I'm going to do yet another ending this time. The last two were kind of the ones you were supposed to do first, but I did them second, unfortunately. Anyway, we'll just continue on.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
I remember the fern, though. That's what's important. So... the fern. They keep saying different things when I walk through the door, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually change anything. It's still the same. So I'm going to go yet a different path here. Trying to think of the different ways I could go. I'm going right.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
No. Yes, I'm going to go in the door on my left, and then I'm going to go down the stairs instead of up the stairs. That's what I'll do. I need to have like a system so I can remember everything.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Unfortunate.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an coming to a staircase.
I interrupted him.
Walked upstairs to his boss's office.
After I go up, I'm pretty sure there's no other endings. So that is like, I don't have to bother with that anymore. But we're going down. What's down here? What? Nothing back there.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
How do you get a car
he
here?
The possibility of facing his boss.
Oh, maybe,
admitting
I don't know.
he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy.
I am
and
crazy.
Then something occurred to Stanley.
Oh, God.
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream.
Yeah.
Oh, what a relief, Stanley.
Was that cup of coffee there before, or am I oblivious? I think I might be oblivious.
His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh my God, I actually am floating.
He
Jesus.
imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts.
Oh my. This is complicated.
And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Okay.
Hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control. That this was
I'm in
a
control.
dream.
This is not a
So
dream.
he closed his eyes
Inception.
gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Yes, everything will be okay. I'm good. Nope, still here.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
I'm Stanley, bro. You know that. We are Stanley.
This is the story of a woman named Marielle.
Okay, how'd we get here?
Marielle woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
That bitch. You can at least call an ambulance. You can, at the very minimum, call an ambulance right now. Okay? At the very minimum. Alright, we probably have time for one more in this episode.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Perhaps. Wait. Whoa. Things are different. Things are different. That hallway was different. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
That hallway was
the
different.
Correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I love this lounge.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
I wish I could drink things. This game won't let me.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
So if I go through here, it'll eventually just lead me back on the path, I'm pretty sure. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll go through it, and if it just leads me back on the path like it did in the Half-Life mod, I'll just skip to when I'm here again and continue on.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
It just goes back, yeah. So I'm going to skip back to where I was so I can not turn left. Alright, so I'm going to go straight this time, see what happens.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Haha. I'm excellent at pressing buttons on a keyboard, though. I make up for it. Look at this room. Look at all these Who gets... Okay. How would you even get to those? Call them bullshit? Call them bullshit on this room?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Who?
This is it, Stanley.
The woman
Your
from the
chance
street?
to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
No. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Just gonna wait. I'm sure there's another ending associated with not answering it. Really? It's gonna ring forever. Oh my god. Alright, fine, I'll do it. Okay. I thought there would be another thing, but I guess not. There still might be. You just have to wait longer.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Okay. That's creepy. This guy's an asshole.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
How does that work? Good morning, employee 427. Press Z on your... Really? Now I'm doing it. Okay.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
It's possible I could just stop playing and not do this,
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Press L to watch TV. Where's...
And so he began to fantasize
what the hell?
about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Press E to spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Almost. Too wonderful.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Ah.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer. that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time.
Nope. Not gonna happen.
I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And
I clicked on something. What, huh? What? Don't, what? No, what? No.
all of his co-workers were what could it mean?
Alright, that'll be the
Stanley
end of
decided
this
to go to the
episode.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
That'll be the end of this.
No matter how hard
Shut
Stanley
up.
looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I'm trying to speak right now. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and leave a like if you enjoyed, or dislike if you didn't, and I'll go ahead and see you next time.